I've got to be very honest here on Triple M Cricket. I reckon I've watched the YouTube highlights of Mitchell Johnson in the 13-14 Ashes over and over and over. One of the best series from a fast bowler that you will ever see. 37 wickets at an average of 13.7. This is the lunch break, by the way. England 1 for 59 in their second innings. Izzy Westbury, Jack Heverin, and of course the great Mitch Johnson. I know they're probably not your favourite highlights, but JB said it in the commentary. He made an awful mess of England throughout that series.
Well, you say they might not be in the highlights, but just the theatre of it all. I mean, even we came out. I mean, that was. I remember it so well because I was in my sort of early 20s and coming off the back of England having done quite well in a series of Ashes. Whether you look at sort of, it was 2009, then obviously that actually winning in 2010-11, and then going back into the UK, I think in 2013. So England came out quite buoyed. They were like, we can take on the Aussies. And then to be absolutely obliterated. And of course, you know, I was sitting on, you know, listening to this in the dead of night back home at Christmas. It was amazing. I was enthralled to watch it. You kind of think, this is what I want to be like. Kind of hated the guy as well.
What's that like, Mitch, when you're just having a blinder? You're just having a series where you can do no wrong. Every ball that you bowl ends up being a good one. You're getting wickets. You're getting all the key batsmen as well. Can you remember that time period?
Yeah, you never forget it. It feels pretty amazing. It's those moments in your career where everything just flows. You're in that flow state, and you literally look back in your career, your whole career, and you go, how many times does that happen? It doesn't happen that often, but when you're in that moment, you just live it and you have fun with it. And I just remember so many great moments through that series, not just mine personally, but other guys through that series that performed well, like Hads. We had a great batting partnership on. It was actually in Brisbane. We had saved us in that first test, got us back in the game, and I went out there and batted with him, and we put on a great partnership. Those little moments, it was the moments of bowling partnerships with Ryan Harris and Peter Siddle and Nathan Lyon. So there were so many little moments that I loved and cherished.
Did it mean more because of how difficult things had been previously in the Ashes series? Like 10-11, we've spoken about. You're in the Barmy Army this morning. So to be able to come back a couple of years later and do what you did it mean a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. I always talk about my career being that roller coaster ride, and I think 10-11 for me was the worst. I don't know if we're going to talk about 2009 as well, but I can go back to that if you like. But it's funny because I look back at that and I think in 2009, I'd just won the Sir Garfield Sobers trophy for best player in world cricket. And so there was this reputation that came with my bowling at the time, and I went over to England thinking everything was going to be sweet, everyone was going to love me, and it wasn't like that at all. And things changed pretty quickly in that first test, and then the songs came about at Lord's. But when I look back, I'm not a stats man, but I've been hearing this lately. I was actually the second leading wicket taker in that series.
Were you really?
Yeah, behind Ben Hilfenhaus, who had 22 wickets. Myself and Peter Siddle had 20
You got
wickets.
a fiver in the last test, didn't you, as well? I'm pretty sure you did. 2009?
Possibly,
Yeah.
Ethan's giving the thumbs up there.
So it's really funny when you see it from a stats point of view, but I think I had high expectations, and I think the people watching the game, the fans watching the game, had those high expectations too because of what I'd been producing that year. So 09 was 09. Yeah, we weren't too happy with how that result ended. 2010-11, it wasn't great. That was probably my worst performance. But again, I think I was probably the third leading wicket taker in that series. But I look back at that series and there was inconsistencies. We lost in, well, I don't think we lost in Brisbane. It got rained out in that last moment. I mean, we were really struggling. I really struggled. I went none for 150 odd, I think, in that first test was dropped in Adelaide and then came back to Perth, and I absolutely love Perth. I got 5 for, and we got back in the series, but then, yeah, we couldn't win it.
Did you realise, I mean, I think my core memories of that 2013-14 Ashes is you whipping through everybody, but then also the shambles of people leaving the test series. Jonathan Trott, obviously, Graham Swan also sort of basically retired middle of that series. You talk about how much of a high it was for you. Did you realise quite what an impact you were having on the England camp?
You see it happening, and you I guess I was enjoying the impact that it did have. It's one of those things. I remember going into that series and we sat down as a fast bowling unit with Michael Clark, who was the captain at the time, and I remember him having real clear plans. And my plan in that bowling attack was to bowl fast in short spells, be intimidating and aggressive. He actually said to me, "Don't worry if you get wickets or not. We just want you to bowl as fast as you can, 150 plus." So, you know, everyone had their plans throughout that series, and then to come out and actually be able to produce it as a unit, and we stuck to plan A the whole time in that series. But, yeah, to go out there and send a few home, I mean, we didn't know what was going on with Jonathan Trott.
I love the way he just sent a few home, just off you go.
I mean, it's
Matt
part
Pryor
of the game,
there was
is it not?
3. Matt Pryor was the other one that went home in that series.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I think...
Who was supposed
look,
to
you
be
don't know
quite
what's
good-
going on in people's minds at the time, do you?
Well, Matt Pryor was supposed to be quite a good player of base, so that was really it. When he went home, you were like, okay, let's pack up and go.
The time you spent out of the team, and without sort of getting too deeply personal, but I'd imagine that's pretty difficult when you, I think, was it about a year that you were out of the team?
Yeah.
What, can you try and explain to us what that's like when you're in this team and this system and you've got the routine and then all of a sudden that's not there? What's that like?
Well, I also missed out on the Ashes series just before that in England. So I was actually a little bit gutted, but also not. I felt like I wasn't ready. So, but yeah, going back in that time away from the game, you sort of do feel a little bit alone in some ways. But I also needed to be away from the game. I talk about it that, you know, I was wishing on an injury, and I got the injury. I had turf toe, so I was out of the game for a while. But I had a really good plan. Once I had decided that I just wanted to bowl fast and do it my way, I had a really clear plan on how I was going to do that. I did a lot of good training. I trained at the Mill Gym, which is ex-SAS run. You know, worked on my strength and my fitness and my mentality, and felt that was really important. And to be able to just get away from the game, because I was mentally and physically drained. And that's what international cricket does. But when I came back, I was fresh and had a good idea on what I wanted to do. And it fit in with the plan of what the Australian team wanted to do as well.
What was the English perspective of this guy? He was just
Scary.
systematically picking apart the Poms.
Oh, absolutely. But even when you talk back to that 2009 series where, you know, it wasn't the better turns and you had the song from the Barmy Army, it was still rapid. It was still fast, and it was still this legacy of Australian fast bowlers. And that's actually why it's so exciting now watching this England attack, because you're like, this is probably the first time in my lifetime that we've got something to throw back at you with pace, which is great to watch.
Well, even for myself sitting up here, I love seeing pace. I don't like seeing robots out there. I want to see guys that can bowl quick. And I've actually remember playing against Mark Wood at the back end of my career, and we've had conversations before and you know, giving each other a bit of advice. And I just, for me, it's great to have quick bowlers like that. It's part of the game. It always has been. I don't want to ever see that go away. And I do make a joke of it when a parent comes up to me and says, "Oh, what should my kid do, you know, in cricket?" You know, and I say, "Well, be a batsman for one, much better game." But I do joke about it. But I mean, I'd love to see young kids coming through bowling fast and wanting to bowl fast. That's why pitches are so important. Don't want to see flat belters. We don't want to see wickets that are too spicy or wickets that are just spinning like square. So I feel like you know, fast bowling is so important to the game, and I love seeing it.
Do you think the white ball, the prevalence of white ball cricket now, obviously it's everywhere, does that help get more fast bowlers into the game? Because one of the issues that England have always had is that county cricket and the pitches and the type of game and the conditions, it's just not conducive to building out-and-out quicks. Does the white ball game help that?
I'm not sure. I mean, I look at the white ball game, in particular T20 cricket. We're seeing a lot of young guys now that are playing for their country that have grown up with T20 cricket. As a bowler, it's all about volume, I still think, with bowling and getting your body right. You need to bowl lots of overs. So I don't know if T20 cricket helps that or not. It's definitely entertaining, and you see a lot happening with it. With you know, the batting side of things, you see all these big sixes and the lights, all the commotion that goes with it. But from a bowling point of view, I feel like fast bowlers need volume, and Test cricket, the red ball game, is still very important in that way.
Speaking of which, for all the youngsters out there, the all-new Smash Series cricket, it's your hour of power, no equipment required. You just turn up and play. It's as easy as that. Just jump online and search Smash Series to find out more. Last one on this, Mitch, is with the volume of quicks that England have got, and they're just going to keep coming over after over, day after day. Are you worried that they can land a few sort of psychological blows on Australia here with this wicket the way it is?
Yeah, potentially. When you've got guys that are all bowling over that 140, I think apart from Stokes, I mean, he can get to that pace, but I don't think he will. But when you've got a lot of guys that can bowl that 140 plus, 150 plus, and they're being relentless, and on a type of pitch like this, and we'll see it in Brisbane as well, yeah, it does play a bit of a psychological role for sure. And Australia have some ageing guys in their team, so they don't want to face that kind of stuff. And we've seen that here already in the first innings.
No, we do not want to be seeing any more of that from an Australian point of view. England 1 for 59. Mitch, thanks for sharing your memories with us. We appreciate it. Izzy, great work by you. We'll hear from you a little bit later on. We're off to get some lunch now, I reckon.